Unit 6, Lesson 6, Graphing Linear Relations without a Table of Values. So the learning goal for today is to teach you how to graph a line in y equals mx plus b form without having to make a table of values first. So making a table of values is very tedious and takes a lot of time. So I'm going to show you a quicker way to do it. So just some reminders before we start. Remember that a linear relation is presented to you in y equals mx plus b form, where m represents the slope and b represents the y-intercept. So where does the graph cross the y-axis? So the steps for graphing a line that is in y equals mx plus b form are as follows. First, determine the y-intercept and the slope. So the slope is always the value attached to the x. Okay, so the slope here is 1 over 3, and the y-intercept is always the other term, so the term without. Interpret what the slope means. So our slope is 1 over 3. Remember, our slope is rise over run. So that means the rise value is 1 and the run value is 3. Then you would plot the y-intercept on the graph. So let's just make a quick little sketch here. So the y-intercept is 2, so about there. And then you put your pencil on the y-intercept and move according to the slope. So I'm putting my pencil on the y-intercept, and then I'm going to move up 1 because the rise is 1, and to the right 3 because the run is 3. So run is always to the right. So starting at my y-intercept, I'm going to go up 1 and then to the right 3. There's my second point. Connect the dots and voila, you have graphed your line. Okay, so that was just quick. Let me actually get into some true examples with proper graphs. So example 1, graph the equation using the 4 steps above. So step 1 is determine the y-intercept and the slope. So here's the slope, and remember slope is denoted by the variable m. And here's the y-intercept, which is denoted by the variable b. Step 1 done. Step 2, interpret the slope and what it means. So the slope is just a 1 number, it's just a 2. So that's hard to tell what the rise or the run is, because usually we're used to a fraction. So we can actually turn the slope into a fraction by dividing by 1, right? Adding that divide by 1 doesn't change the question, because 2 divided by 1 is still just 2. But now we have a rise number and we have a run number. So the rise is 2 and the run is 1. Step 3, plot the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is at -3. So 1, 2, -3 is right there on the y-axis. Step 4, put your pencil on the y-intercept, move according to the slope, and plot the second point. So I'm going to move up 2 and to the right 1. So up 2 to the right 1, and I'm going to plot my second point. Okay, now I'm going to connect the dots, and I'm all done. I've graphed the equation. So you can see how quick that is. It's so much easier than actually filling out an entire table of values, doing the math that way. So the question is graph y equals -2 over 3x minus 4. So let's follow our steps. So first, determine the y-intercept and the slope. So there's the y-intercept. There's the slope. Okay, interpret the slope and what it means. So it's -2 over 3. So that means there is a rise of -2. So when the rise is negative, you're actually going down. So when you're down 2 spaces and to the right 3 spaces. Okay, plot the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is -4. And then put your pencil on the y-intercept and move according to the slope to the next point. So my pencil is on the y-intercept. And then according to the slope, I'm going to go down 2 and to the right 3. And plot my second point. Now I'm going to connect the dots, and I will have my line. So there's my graph. So that's how you graph a line if the line is given to you in y equals mx plus b form. First, plot the y-intercept, Then move according to the slope to your next point, plot it, and then connect the two dots. Okay? Make sure you always extend your line all the way through the graph. Right? My points were only right over here, but I still drew my line all the way across.